Hello, everyone. Amy from AMPO here. I'm really excited to come and talk to you guys today. We've got a really exciting topic. We are going to be digging deeper into our story formula that we've been using for appeal letters. As a reminder, that formula is that the community has a problem, that your organization has a solution, but the only way that the solution can be implemented is with donor dollars. And so we've already talked about how to dig deep on your community problem. As a reminder, that's usually the opposite of your mission or your vision. So whatever your organization's mission is, chances are pretty good that your community problem is the opposite of that. This week, we're going to dig deeper into the idea of the solution and how do you look at framing up the solution that your organization provides. And so your solution is the programs that your organization offers. So for some of you, this is going to be really clean. You have one community problem that you're solving and you have one program that does that. And so for those of you that do that, this is going to be it's going to be a really elegant exercise for you to pull off. For organizations that might be solving might have more programs, more than one program, this is going to get to be a little bit more complicated, but we're still going to get you there. And so this is a really critical part. How do you talk about your program, or how do you talk about your programming? So you could do this a couple of different ways. You could use metrics. You could use the numbers of people that you serve. That would be one way that you could frame up your solution to talk to donors about it. You could talk in really general language, like from your marketing brochures, about what your programs are doing. That's another way that you could do it. And both of those ways are going to help you raise funds. So if you do it either of those ways, you will raise money. People will respond with fundraising dollars to those prompts. But there is a way that you can do this that's going to raise you more money. And that is by telling one person's story. So it's easier for donors to wrap their minds around the idea of them impacting one life than it is to try to get their arms around the fact that they're impacting, maybe you're serving thousands of people a year, maybe you're serving your entire state, whatever that is. That's harder for them to get their arms around. Now, this one person's story, that doesn't mean that you have to go and find one person and get them to sign off on being able to use their story. You don't have to do it that way. You can, but you don't have to. You can tell it in really general terms. And so one of the ways that you can start to do this so that you can start to understand what that story is for your organization is you can go and sit in a really high traffic area of your organization and take notes. Jot down notes of what you're seeing happening every day. That's the story of your organization. And there's 3 questions that you want to answer when you're thinking about that story of that individual. And the first question is, where did they come from? Where were they before they started to interact with your organization? What happened while they were interacting with your organization? What impact did your organization have on their life? And where did they go after they were done interacting with your organization? So go and sit in a high traffic area of your organization, watch what's happening, and really start to understand the answers to those 3 questions. Where did they come from before they interacted with your organization? What happened while they were interacting with your organization? And that's what you're going to observe in that high traffic area. And where did they go after they left your organization? Those 3 questions are going to help you to be able to create a story about your client journey. And that's going to be the story that we're going to share in your appeal letter. So as a reminder, this appeal, we're going to want this to drop in the middle of May. So that's why we're working on it now, is so that we can get that appeal out so that it's in donors' hands the middle part of May so that they can make gifts to your organization. Also, if you're thinking, holy buckets, this is a lot to get done. I wish there was a way I could outsource this. Don't worry, we've got you covered. Head over to the AMPO website, www.amponow.com, and you're going to see a button right at the top of the page that says, click here to create your appeal. You're going to be able to go through those prompts, and you'll be able to create your appeal, and we'll even mail it out for you. So we'll work with the mail house to get it designed, printed, and in the mail to your donors. So if that's something you're interested in, just head over to that site, and all the information about doing that is there. As always, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how things are going. How is it going in your organization? how things are being impacted. If you're enjoying this video series, just let me know. And as always, have a great week, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.